Hi, Steve Gamache here with a Chef Knives to Go quick look product video, and we're looking in this edition at the Kohetsu Aogami Super Series Wa Petty 120mm knife. This line of knives has a core steel of Aogami or Blue Paper Super carbon steel. The heat treat rating on these, when these are impeccably heat treated with actual reports from the maker on the heat treat measurements to mark. But anyway, very consistent heat treating at 63 to 64 Rockwell. The construction is a stainless steel, refined, kind of polished cladding over the top of that core steel. It's a little hard to tell on this knife, the delineation line, but it's there. It's a little hard to tell with this knife being a little smaller, actually. You've got some embossed kanji on the knife and some nice convexing to the knife. The weight on this is quite light, of course, at 53 grams, being a wa and very small. 1.9 ounces. The blade length is a little under 120 at 118, and the overall length is about 9.5 inches. The spine thickness right above here at the heel is about 2.3, and then you get a taper down as you go to that and tapering down towards the tip. So this knife has a pretty decent distal taper to it, especially in this part of the blade. The height right here above the heel chin area is 27.25, so it's not super tall. The handle is an octagonal Howood buffalo horn ferrule. Real nice fit and finish on the handle. Very smooth finish on the whole thing. And the handle itself, the neck's pretty thick on this knife, so this knife does have a certain feel to it that is different from a Western style handle, which is thinner. I'm going to get a comparison shortly. Here's the edge profile on this knife. So it's kind of like a little bit of a mini Gyuto curve to it. And it's quite thin at the edge. A little hard to show there, but you can see that hopefully. The fit and finish on this is extremely good. Very rounded spine. You're not going to put your finger back here probably too much, but it's rounded and relieved as well back here. The out-of-the-box edge was okay. You could sharpen this up much better than it is out of the box. I'll give it maybe about a 4 out of 10. It wasn't super duper sharp. Didn't have much bite either or tooth to the edge, but a quick trip on some sharpening stones or a touch-up on a rod would make this thing screaming sharp. So you can get this extremely sharp if you wish to do so. The balance point on this is right about there, if that really matters that much to you. To compare, the other Kohetsu 120 that came out is the Hat 40 Western. So I just want to compare the two of these together because you can see how much different they are. The blade length is approximately the same. The shape of the blade is similar, not identical. This has more of a sheep's foot type profile on this versus this sweeps up a little bit more towards the tip on the AS Wa. But the biggest difference is the handle area. So in hand, they will handle quite differently. This one is meant, in my opinion, to be more just handling the knife and using it. The pinch grip is a little tricky because you can catch your finger on this sharp heel very easily. If you use it as a parer, you'll have to grip way up on it and watch where your fingers go. It's a little hard to, in my opinion, with the handle being a little bigger, to do in-hand pairing with it if you're trying to work on ingredients, versus the Kohetsu Western is much more, I guess, in tune or capable shape-wise of doing more in-hand pairing with the smaller handle, and you could choke up on it and get in there if you want to without worrying about your finger catching the heel too much. So quite a different approach to the ergonomics of the blade. But there's your comparison if we want to see this on our little new edition board here. So it's a small knife, but that's what the profile is going to look like. So it rocks actually quite well. It's a gentle curve over the whole blade. So this would be very good for very small ingredients. I could see you working on shallots with this, mincing herbs, chives, small onions, green onions, those kind of things with this blade. I don't see it as much of an in-hand pairing type blade, but that's just my personal opinion after a little bit of use on this versus a traditional pair. But very nicely done knife, very good fit and finish, really refined knife, holds great edge, great steel, very, very light. Kohetsu Aogami Super Wa Petty 120mm knife.